Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Indeed. Woof. Woof indeed. We are back in Far Lands or Bust. Let's get on out. Get on out. I don't know what that was. Felt like I was going to start singing some James Brown or something, but I do not sing, nor do I have the capacity to do so at a James Brown level. So we're just going to continue walking to the Far Lands because that is something I can do at a KurtJMac level. And we have been doing now for 273 episodes. This is episode 273. Far Lands or Bust. It is July 24th, 2013. Whoa, we gotta watch our steps here as we continue west. And we still continue raising money for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. Kind of heard a skeleton down there, so let's just run away. Raising money for Child's Play charity. Oh, jeez. I feel like there's an increase of instances in which we pass over areas that may or may not be spawners, but who cares? We're continuing. Raising money for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. Hello! You just grew. And we are currently at $37,000, $244.16. A very significant jump in the donations, past 37% of our way to our $100,000 goal this season. I do appreciate all the donations, all the questions, all the comments, all the support for Child's Play charity. We help get toys, books, and games to kids in hospitals around the world. Great cause. And I appreciate, like I always say, everybody sharing and donating and having fun. Everybody's having fun with that. I mentioned in the last episode, I tried not to give any spoilers, so I was a little bit vague about it, but friend Brian, Lorgon111, fellow YouTuber, is doing a series in Minecraft called Exploration and Tactics. It's a long-running series of his, but this season he's doing it in a new world, in the new version, with the health regen turned off, the quote-unquote UHC mode that's been added to the vanilla version of the game, and he's set forth a bunch of challenges for himself, and one of the things is, if he dies, he said he would pledge to donate $111 to Child's Play charity through Far Lands or Bust every time he dies, and in his last episode he died. But it was a few, you know, he was well into his progress of his series. He died during his dragon fight. He's done everything. He's gathered all of the ender pearls, the ender eyes, the blaze rods, things like that. And the first time he died was with the ender dragon, and he died twice. So we got a very generous donation from Brian, Lorgon111, for that. And also he has some fans, some mutual fans between Far Lands or Bust and Lorgon111, who have also taken it upon themselves to make pledges to donate based on his performance in his series. People who I did indeed get donations from. Tommy, Bergasms, and a few anonymous donators mentioned that, you know, in certain cases, oh, if Brian dies, I will donate this amount, or I will donate this amount for every episode Brian does not die. So it's kind of a cool thing, a nice little incentive, a little thing going on there that I really appreciate. I don't know what I can do to sort of incorporate something similar into Far Lands or Bust. I mean, I know the main goal is once we reach $100,000, I'll press F3, which gives us our coordinates, which we haven't done since last August, is when the last flob-athon took place, where I pressed F3 after we reached Season 3's goal. I know that's the big matzo ball, but perhaps I'll have to, with that inspiration from Brian's series, think of something similar, either here, or maybe I will connect some of my other YouTube series. Who knows? We'll see. But yes, I do appreciate the enthusiasm as always and the continued support. Indeed. Right, Wolfie? Spawn. Woof, indeed. Indeed, he knows. Well, let's see, we could probably inch a few more blocks out of this boat. as far as distance goes. Still, in this version of the game, we're playing in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. Boating, I believe, is the fastest way to travel because there aren't powered... Are there powered rails? I don't believe there are powered rails in this version of the game. No, I don't believe there are. Are there? Maybe there are. I could be wrong. I'm not willing to really explore that to find out. Otherwise, maybe powered rails on a diagonal, I think Etho or somebody determined would be the fastest way to actually blocks per second movements or something like that. But as far as I'm concerned, boating is faster than walking. But that's alright. We're not trying to get there as fast as possible. We're enjoying the journey. Ah, music! What else have we got going on? I have a little bit of a story to tell. A tale! A tale of fantastic stuff. I'm not a very good writer. I wouldn't be very good in literature. I seem to have problems. I tweeted about this, but I don't know what it is. Maybe I've just got bad luck or something, but I have problems with backup drives. I always get... you have to back up your files. Most importantly here is obviously the Far Lands or Bust world. We've walked so far, it would be terrible to lose all this progress. I've got the world in multiple areas. It's right now over 8 gigabytes. I think it's 8.4 gigs, the size of this world. File save file, rather. But also all of my videos. It's like 2.5 terabytes worth of videos over the past 2.5 years that I've been doing YouTube. All my website stuff, all the templates I have for my video making and you know, associated graphics and things. I have a bunch of miscellany from like schoolwork and stuff. I really have to go through and like just delete. I mean, there's no reason for me to keep a hold on really crummy old graphic designs from you know, second year graphic design school. You know, some brochure for a fake company. When am I ever going to use that? I can't include that if I am, by some unfortunate circumstance, having to go back into the graphic arts or graphic design industry. I can't use that stuff in a portfolio. That's over 10 years old. So I'll just have to go through and just delete that stuff for the sake of decluttering and whatnot. No reason to keep it, but it's very easy to let stuff clutter up on your computer because you can just put it in a folder and forget about it. But anyway, I was talking about backup drives. I have an external hard drive that connects to my computer via USB. This one is a 3 terabyte. This is a Seagate. It was my first Seagate drive that I bought. All of my internal drives in my computer are all Western... Oh, are all making me choke! Are all Western Digital. I've never had a problem with Western Digital. Like, none of my hard drives have ever failed in any of my computers ever. I still back up, obviously, for the reason of just in case, but I just keep buying Western Digital. And I had, before this, a 2 terabyte backup USB drive that failed. And now, I think it's been almost a year that I've had this 3 terabyte Seagate one, and it is failing. It's kind of weird. They don't fail right out. They don't just like... I do get the weird clicky noise sometimes, but it's only like when... Oh, that's lava. Let's not go that way. But it's only when accessing like certain parts of the hard drive. So I don't know if it's the controller that's failing. That's built into the backup drive. I could try to take it apart and see if I can salvage a bare drive out of that and see if it still works. I don't know, but I go through backup drives like sticks of gum. I don't know what's the deal with that. I mean... I'm not writing too much to them. They're not like drives that I access all the time. I do have an automated program that backs up on a weekly basis. I back up my documents and then my you know, video work files and things like that. I take it into my hand. I manually back up my video files just because they're so big and I want to keep them organized and I want to make sure that they back up so that I don't trust leaving it to an automated program to do that. I don't know if I should change that or not. But this backup drive has bit the dust, so I'm now having to find something else. I can still access it every now and again and back something up. which is strange. It's not, like I said, it's not just dead. It just is protesting its continued survival. So there's still stuff on the drive that I can access if need be, if the most terrible thing were to happen. And I also have a third backup redundancy. I have an offsite. I pay for an offsite backup service to the cloud, if you will, to the clouds, which backs up on a continual basis. So I have a backup of the backup, which I don't know. I suppose having the cloud backup means that I don't need an in-house backup, but I still want to have a physical copy here that I don't have to wait to then, like, say I lost my video files. I don't want to have to download 2.5 terabytes of data. That would be terrible. So yeah, who knows? So just a weird thing. I'll continue talking about this in the morning. Let's go to sleep. It's getting dangerous. That was weird. Sorry. I don't know what that noise was that I made. That's the I'm scared because things are going to start spawning noise, everybody. But anyway, yeah, so I've had that problem over and over and over again. Am I walking the right way? No, this is the right way. And yeah, these backup drives, I usually buy them on sale at Newegg or something, so I'm sure I haven't spent more than, woo. Hello there. You are a fanciful floaty tree, aren't you? Just existing on your single layer of dirt. Woof! Very red color. That's part of the texture pack, by the way, for anybody wondering. There's the official, well, official, non-official, fan-made Farlands Rust texture pack that I've been using for the longest time here. There's a link in the video description, but it includes the kind of autumnal trees that I really like the colors of. Careful, Woofy. Woof. But yeah, the whole backup drives thing. I don't know what I do wrong there. I mean, is it just the case that external USB drives are less reliable than just your internal drives that you buy? I don't know. It's possible. But next, I'm thinking of, you know, I've had enough of having these. Like I said, the previous one was a Western Digital that died. This one is a Seagate. Once it dies, it dies. You got, it's basically useless. So I think I'm gonna splurge a little bit. Hello, frame rate. I'm gonna splurge a little bit and go for probably a network storage array of drives. I've been looking at the Drobo. It's basically an enclosure that you can add 4 or 5. I think I'm looking at the 5 bay one. 5 bare hard drives, and then utilize that as your storage, and it also has internal redundancies, so if one drive fails, you can replace it, and then it will replace the data. So I'm thinking of going that route. That way, if per se, a hard drive fails, I don't have to buy a whole new enclosure and everything. Hello, speaking of hard drives failing, wake up. This reminds me of my old computer when we were playing Farlands Bust, all the kind of jitteriness when terrain was generating. But wouldn't that be ironic? Hard drive fails while recording Farlands Bust, talking about hard drive failures. But I'm thinking of going that route, so I'm waiting for some things to come in, for some fundage to come in that I can then expenditure towards that business expense. And then I will be at ease with my backup solutions. But anyway, thought I'd throw that out there. A little bit of a story. I know you guys may or may not enjoy random stories from my real life Kurtitude here in Farlands Bust, but too bad, you're going to deal with it. I have you as a captive audience. No, I don't. You can leave at any time. But anyway, let's answer some questions from donators and comments. You can leave questions with your comments, or you can leave questions in the comment field with your donation to Child's Play Charity at farlandsbust.com. They come to me anonymously. You can leave your name if you'd like. If you'd like me to give a little bit of a shout out with your question and a thank you for your donation. Of course, thank you to every donation I receive, whether or not you ask a question or leave your name. But let's go down the list here. I got a few very similar questions from people who did not leave their names, anonymous donators. I'll ask them both at the same time and answer them in kind. The first one asked, is there anything you did when you were young that, looking back on, you found to be both immensely stupid and funny? And then the other question was asked, do you have any embarrassing memories? Oh, hold on, I'm a little bit beep up. Do you have any embarrassing memories? And what is or was the most cringeworthy of those embarrassing memories? Both falling under the same categories of regrets and memories and things like that. I did tell the story about being arrested at one point. Sure, there are plenty of different choices I could have made to have avoided that, but that was a different thing entirely. I'm going to, I don't have... I can't really think of any, like, haha, funny stories or anything like that. If I do, I'll tell them in a different context, I suppose. But in this context, I would like to talk about them as, you mentioned cringe-worthy, embarrassing memories or things. I think we all have those. I know I'm probably not alone. And I might be a little bit more alone in the way I deal with them. I'm sure, I don't know what it is. It's a little bit of... maybe a bit of the anxiety. Oh, excuse me. Did I just like experience lag there? What the heck was that? Or did that leaf like grow back right in front of my face? Anyway, yeah, embarrassing memories and things. Whatever. Whenever I think of something, here, let me start off with an anecdote, a reference, if you will. A webcomic called, am I going the right way? Yeah. Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal. There was a comic once. It was a very simple 3-panel comic. In the first panel, there was just a guy walking along the street, happy as can be, whistling, like so happy, just having a good old day and walking down the street. And then in the second panel, his brain pops in and says, "Hey, remember that thing you did a long time ago that is incredibly embarrassing and you really regret?" And then in the next panel, he's like completely depressed and his day is ruined. So I think I'm not the only person who has this kind of self-destructive memory center that you could just be totally unrelated and unprovoked going about your day, and then all of a sudden, a memory, could be decades past. Something totally trivial and not at all relevant to the current situation or any situation at all just pops into your head and makes you completely just, as insignificant as it may be, just ruins your mood and just makes you hate yourself for a little bit. It's just, I think it's a human trait. I don't know what chemical or evolutionary purpose it serves, but just bam, out of nowhere. And I've taken... That happens sometimes to me. And again, it's like really stupid stuff, like elementary school stuff. Like what? That bears no resemblance upon the person I am or the actions I take right now. High school stuff, just random stuff, dealing with people in public or old jobs I had. And at times where I feel like I get a little bit weird about it is I will sometimes, when that thought pops into my head, I will actually like verbally catch myself. I'll actually like out loud be like, "Oh, you idiot." I'll actually say that out loud. Like there's a secondary voice in my head that's like remembering that and telling me that I'm an idiot about whatever, I can't even think of any right now because I try to, they pop in when I least want them, not when I'm actually trying to remember some silly mistake I made at when I was working the holiday season at Circuit City in high school or something like that. And I'll actually like do one of those double takes. Like I could be doing the dishes or just out shopping, grocery shopping, and I'll actually say out loud, "Oh, you idiot," and then I'll like catch myself and have to look around and be like, "Did anybody see me do that?" They're gonna think I'm schizophrenic. And I don't know that I'm alone in that. That might be a little bit specific. I do remember watching an interview with who was it? I think it was Conan O'Brien. Said he does similar things, and his wife has caught him, looking, when you're in the mirror, you kind of do that sometimes yourself because you're like talking to a second person. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it is a little bit of a... Careful, Wolfie, of the cactus. No. Okay, I'm going to have to destroy this. Maybe it is like the beginnings. Perhaps that is a similar reaction to schizophrenia. I suppose full-on schizophrenia is where you would then embrace that secondary voice that tells you you're an idiot and actually allow it to take over. I don't know. But that happens. I'm willing to admit that happens, and I'm sure in saying so, maybe a lot of you in the comments, well, whether or not you're comfortable saying so, will say, yeah, I thought that was the only one who had that happen too, and stuff like that. But I think it's a common human trait to have a sudden thought pop in your head or memory, especially the embarrassing ones. I suppose, speaking of what evolutionary trait or purpose it may serve, your brain tries to remember the mistakes you make so that you do not repeat them. Because, you know, in the in the plains of the Serengeti or wherever where we evolved, you know, you don't want to make the mistake of not running away from that lion a second time, so you want to remember that, and your brain wants to remind you of that every once in a while, or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, you are not alone. I definitely have that same experience, and hold on, let me, whoops, nope, well, that was one of those stupid things I did right there. There we go. Instagrass. Let's do that. Let's go to sleep, and I will continue talking about my possible mild schizophrenia in the morning. All right, in the morning. Darkness level, thank you. And awakeness. Boop. Woof. Pant, I'll take that. So yeah, basically, when I read these questions, I initially wasn't going to answer them because, I mean, first of all, they were from anonymous people, so I don't know, you know, there wouldn't be anything missed from them or not. But, you know, second of all, I have problems remembering these things because I suppose I try to forget them. And here's a little trick, a little bit of a mind puzzle for you to work on. And this really only works for the small things. You know, the really insignificant things. If you think about it, those little things that pop into your head, a little mistake you made or a little embarrassing moment you had decades ago, you have to assume nobody else but you, the person it happened to, remembers those things, right? So nobody else... is that cobblestone? That might be cobblestone. No, that's gravel. Nope, now I'm stuck. Dang it. Okay, so if nobody else alive on the entire planet remembers that event happening, that thing happening to you or because of you, if you forget that it happens, then it never happened, right? Like, you know, a tree falls in the forest, nobody's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound, you can't prove that it did. So if nobody remembers something happened, then it didn't happen, and you can pretty much let it go and forget about it, and in forgetting about it, it never happened. Kind of a weird wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey quantum mechanics thing going on there, you know, observable versus non-observable sort of thing, but that's the way I kind of think about it, and like I said, that really only works for the small things. Obviously, there are some big things, if they... either whether or not they be traumatic or big, that it's good to remember and learn from and see how they affect you, and perhaps you need to deal with those in separate ways, whether or not it's talking about them or etc. But the little things, you know, like I'm sure everybody in first grade or so had an issue where they might have not made it to the restroom in time and they wet their pants. Am I right? I'm not the only one. Ah, crumbs. I just mentioned it, and now a bunch of people know. That means it happened. Oh, dang it. No, seriously, that happens to a lot of people, right? I can't be the only one. Come on. You're a little kid. You can't hold it in. And your teacher says you have to take a test. You don't want to get up to go to the bathroom, so it just ends up happening right there. And then you're embarrassed because that happened to also be the day that you were wearing light gray sweatpants. Oh, so many memories. But yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it, so that might be why I can't think of an embarrassing moment off the top of my head, unless it's one of those big things like getting arrested that one time, or getting rejected by this person, or stood up, or this or the other. But you know, the big things are okay to remember and sometimes are hard to forget for a reason because they do kind of matter a little bit and you can deal with them as need be. But the little things, little embarrassing moments, cringeworthy, if you will, those moments that pop into your head in the middle of the day and make you go, idiot, what do you know, and then you catch yourself and make sure people think you were talking to the jar of mayonnaise you're looking at in the grocery aisle and not yourself. But yeah, thanks for those questions. Kind of weird things that I noticed throughout life and things like that. And perhaps there are a bunch of you who are quite young, I know, who watch the YouTube Let's Plays in my channel, and perhaps you have yet to experience that, but surely know the small little insignificant embarrassments and perhaps things that you think totally ruin your day. Something happens, you're like, oh, I cannot ever go back to school ever again because this happened or that happened or this person saw me do this or said this about me. Really totally insignificant in the grand scheme of things, and when you grow up to be an adult, you can choose to make those things insignificant, and you can choose to ignore that they ever happened, and through the magic of quantum mechanics, if nobody else remembers them, then they never happened at all. Ooh, wibbly wobbly timey wimey things. But anyway, good chat everybody. Meeting adjourned. Let's go to another question here. Oh, a video went up, probably, well, another wibbly wobbly timey wimey thing is, I'm recording this, it's about 1:45 p.m. on July 24th. A video will have come out earlier than this video. I think probably maybe 3 or 4 hours before this one. I have made, once again, another video in Kerbal Space Program. Continuing with that, and it's luck. You know, if you guys want a new version of Kerbal Space Program to come out, just ask me to publish a video in the old version, and they'll release the new version, because that's exactly what keeps happening. It happened the last time. I record a video, I edit it, I render it, I sit on it for maybe a day or so to let things process and the advertising and monetization to enable on my YouTube channel. And in the meantime, before I'm able to publish the Kerbal Space Program video, Squad comes out with a new version of Kerbal Space Program. So I'm like, dang it! I seem like the guy who's so far behind on the times. But that happened, and also that happened that a new version of Kerbal Space Program was released. So I did release a new Kerbal Space Program video. You can check that out. One of the questions I got from a donator, an anonymous donator, is, what do you love most about Kerbal Space Program? I would say, despite the fact that, yes, I do have problems coming up with things to do, I do have problems sometimes with how long it takes me to record those episodes and edit them and stuff like that, it's sometimes a deterrent and causes me not to make as many episodes as I know the hardcore fans might want, but they'll just have to deal with it. So there's certainly issues that I have as a YouTuber with creating those episodes, but what do I love most? Certainly those first few days, the first few plays, you know, the exploration, the kind of finding out how to play the game was definitely a very exciting time. You can only have that once, and even in Minecraft, I know a lot of people look nostalgically back at the first time they played Minecraft and trying to survive, and it's hard to kind of recreate that first initial wide-eyed thank you, that right there, that experience is hard to recreate once you've played it for so many years, but certainly that, I think, more so than not, if we're looking for a specific thing, it would be, ooh, let's not, oh god, Wolfie, no, yes, let's come this way, very good, Wolfie, no, over here, thank you. I'm going to purposefully walk around this way. I would say it's the humor included in Kerbal Space Program. It could have very easily been a serious game like Orbiter. I mean, there are other games out there like Orbiter where it's very scientifically accurate about spaceflight and orbital mechanics and things, but without the humor of the fact that you're sending little green squishy goo men into outer space. And the fact that they all have their different personalities, and the fact that they do quite readily seem available to be blown to many smithereens. The humor of the game is probably the aspect of it that I enjoy most. And it's a hard balance. I think they're still working on the balance between the playability and the realism, but also balancing the fun aspect. Hi, Guy, thank you. The fun aspect, the humor, the kind of tongue-in-cheek references. So that is probably what I love most about Kerbal Space Program, and it was indeed on the Steam Summer Sale a couple times for a good price. I think it was like $12 or something like that. So I hope those of you who have Steam saw that and were able to pick up a copy for yourselves. Certainly much more recommended over Tomb Raider and things like that, which were also similarly discounted. Woof! Wolfie agrees. Kerbal Space Program instead of Tomb Raider. Look at that. Woof. As the sun sets, kind of a little bit of a segue, Bergasms with his donation relating to exploration and tactics with Lorgon 111. Bergasms asked if you could do a YouTube LP with any person, alive or dead, past or present, in any game, what would you pick and what game and why? Obviously I don't have much time to expand upon this with the sun setting, but I would probably want to play Kerbal Space Program with, you know, like somebody in the space industry, you know, somebody as big as Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I know there was an episode of his podcast. What is it called? What's his podcast called? Star Talk Radio, where they talked about video games and things, and I don't think they discussed Kerbal Space Program or anything like that. But a lot of people in the comments said you should try and you should play Kerbal Space Program, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't believe anything came of it, but you know, that would be really cool to see an advocate of space flight. Oops, did not mean to do that. And an exploration actually play a game that quite simply has the same goals, the same sort of thing, the hook behind it. So that would be cool. I mean, of course, if you want to talk about past or present, you know, seeing Carl Sagan or somebody or you know, Neil Armstrong, or, you know, I suppose at some point Buzz Aldrin, we can get to play Kerbal Space Program. I don't know. And I know with there was a Reddit AMA with the JPL team who landed and had to do with the Curiosity rover landing on Mars, and it said that a few of them do play Kerbal Space Program, which was kind of a cool thing to hear, and they like it very much. So I think, yeah, the realism side of it definitely would attract those kinds of personalities and such to the game. But yeah, I would probably say that. I can't quite think of too many people who I could see wanting to play Minecraft with. What else do I need to do? Really nothing. All right. Yeah, that's kind of tough to say. Who would you want to play Minecraft with or something like that? So yeah, Kerbal Space Program with Neil deGrasse Tyson. There we go. Indeed. Thank you very much for the donation, Bergasms, and everybody else who donated and asked questions. We got plenty more to go through. Plenty more to talk about in the coming episodes. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate you enjoying this episode. Well, I can't... You'll have to let me know if you enjoyed this episode, but I appreciate you at least watching this episode. Episode 273 of Far Lands or Busts. My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.